back to you. I promise I will find a way back no matter what.
Hi there everyone, Lars here, back with another review and recommendation brought to you by Camille's Harem. Not just a podcast by novice writers for novice writers, but also a YouTube channel by novice writers for novice writers. Because writing is an adventure, it's more fun with friends. And I really needed to get this video out to recommend to you to watch Olan Rogers' Godspeed. If you haven't yet seen this post-apocalyptic cartoon, you really need to check it out. It is so full of heart and just well done tension. This is something that I have not seen from Olan Rogers before. If you have seen the lovable goof do his stories here on YouTube, but you haven't seen his other works yet, you really gotta check him out. He normally does a lot of action and comedy, but here we have pure drama. Holy cow. I did not know that Olan Rogers was this good at writing one dramatic piece. And it really is a gut punch, especially if you know his works. And if you don't, again, I highly recommend it. But one other reason why I am bringing up this review right now, right before Christmas, is because, well, there's a Kickstarter to get Godspeed made into a series. And I highly recommend that you check it out, that you give him your support if you can. I'm not going to go very spoilery with my review, though, as I talk about right here, because this is something that I feel like you really do have to experience. And if you are a fan, again, of some of Olan Rogers' other works, I am not going to spoil some of the stuff that you might see here in this video. Godspeed follows a young girl named Iris, who gets left behind on Earth during some crazy apocalyptic event. But it's not because no one loved her. She's not left behind because she's just one of the poor, downtrodden souls left to suffer on Earth. No, she's someone who was very loved and had a spot on the last ships leaving Earth. However, she stays behind to give a young boy a chance at life. And she stays behind with that boy's mother and forms her own life in a world where things are changing. Some sort of weird anomaly has appeared in the sky. It has corrupted Earth. It has changed the weather patterns to become kind of like Rorschach's great storms that just wipe out everything that they come into contact with. And humanity has been driven to the brink, killed by these crazy weather patterns and by strange stuff that's been happening to the Earth. Iris is one of the last humans alive when we see her next, searching for some way of preserving her life, grappling with the very stark reality that she will die, just along with everyone else. And you see it in the landscape, you see it in the remains, you see it in one incredibly poignant, awful, yet beautiful scene where you see how people have given up hope. It is one of the saddest and also one of the most gripping things I have seen from a cartoon and really from any show or movie recently in a while. And I have seen some really beautiful things and I've seen some very emotional moments. This was gripping and powerful in a way that I was not expecting. And it really got me thinking long after I'd watched the episode. However, Iris's doomed quest to stay alive for as long as possible changes when she miraculously gets a message from her uncle, the one who was saving a spot for her on the final ship to get off world. And he is inviting her to return to that same place, saying that there is a way for her to get off of the planet. She just has to trust him. He is somewhere out there in space. There's no way of actually communicating with him. Who knows when this message got to her? This lifeline could be gone. And yet she takes a hold of that final thread of hope and goes back to the place where it all began, into the middle of what's now become this massive wasteland where there was once a city and millions of people. All that's left is desert and some ruins, and yet what she discovers there is indeed a thread of hope. What I love about this video, Godspeed right here, is that this is a beautiful representation of the tragedy and personal journey of Olan Rogers. If you don't know about this guy, again, I highly recommend that you check out his works. But Olan Rogers started off here on YouTube doing various skits and telling funny stories. He was once with a group of YouTubers, and that group kind of fell apart due to some in-group drama. So he kind of went off and did his own thing, built a really solid following, then started taking to the road as a stand-up comedian. I actually went to one of his stand-up shows. It was a Christmas one, actually, and I got to hear him share his most embarrassing Christmas poop story, and I definitely did the embarrassing thing by trying to one-up him with my own embarrassing Christmas poop story in front of everyone. If you want to hear that particular story, let's get this review and recommendation up to 10,000 views, and I will do a story all about not just what happened there with Olan Rogers, but also tell you my embarrassing poop story. But coming back to Olan Rogers, it wasn't just his YouTube channel and the stand-up show that he was doing. He even started his own shop where he was selling sodas, selling merchandise, selling all of these cool collectible items, and he was making his own shows on the side and pitching them to Hollywood. And finally, he got picked up to make Final Space, which was a really hilarious comedic pitch, and then when it actually was adapted into a show, woo boy, it became an action drama. And even still, with some of the stuff that people have seen from Final Space, I would say that Godspeed really ratchets it up to 11 from anything that I saw in Final Space. But at this time, Olan Rogers seemed to just be absolutely living the life. He was what all the YouTubers wanted to be, going from nothing to something, using YouTube as this wonderful platform to generate all of these followers, to just have a great time, develop a great personality, and then to be picked up by other people and just to go into the world of stars, up to Hollywood, and to have his own business on the side. He was happily married. He still is happily married, actually. But just everything was going well for him. And then it all came crashing down. His show was canceled and written off as a tax write-off. And that was it. Everything that he'd been pouring his life and soul into just suddenly gone. His cat was eaten by his next-door neighbor's dog, and the guy absolutely loved his cat. Or a tornado plowed through his store and wiped out everything. And the insurance did not cover it, or did not cover enough to make up for the losses. And his job in Hollywood had taken him away from YouTube for so long that his channel basically went dead. And so Olan Rogers, suddenly out of a job, out of a store, his beloved cat gone, his show gone, and really nowhere else left to go, he just absolutely fell. It seemed as though everything was gone. There was nothing else left for him. And he tried to do some little comeback videos and pump back in that positivity, but it was hard. And so where do you go? He fought to reclaim what he could of Final Space, and there will be a graphic novel to wrap up as much as he can of Final Space, but that will be it. He doesn't get the ending or the send-off that he wanted. Legally, he's lost his rights to just about everything that he had done. And trying to come back again with a YouTube career, because his channel went dead and all of that, he lost a lot of confidence in himself. And then the industry of animation that this guy has loved has been gutted by Hollywood studios, not just Disney. When I did my video about why Glitch has just been demolishing Disney, I said in that video that this is representative of a much larger problem that's been gripping Hollywood. Olan Rogers has lived on the other side of Disney, has gotten to see how other studios have just demolished their animation arms that have put so many people out of work. So many dreams have been destroyed. In this critical environment of a shrinking animation industry, Godspeed is like a godsend, with Olan Rogers being able to reach out to people who he knows from his time working on Final Space, who have now lost their jobs, and giving them a chance to once again have a job doing what they love doing. This is honestly a new pathway forward for the world of animation. Even though the mainstream entertainment industry believes that animation should go out the door, there is still a massive craving for it. And so when I look at Godspeed, what I see right here is I see not just a fantastic adventure story of a surviving girl who is holding out to hope in the face of just sheer disaster, but this is a story of hope and redemption for a man who has lost everything. And so when I say that your stories need you need your stories, and the world needs your stories, Godspeed to me is the perfect example of that, because Olan Rogers needed this story to get out of his slump of defeat and to once again do something that he absolutely loves to do, that he is passionate about. This is also a story that could only be told by Olan Rogers. It is his story, for crying out loud. Within the episode, there's even a reference to the tornado that took out his soda shop, which was both hilarious and super sad at the same time. And this is a story that is reaching out to people within the industry who lost their jobs. It's a story that's reaching out to his fans, and it's a story that reaches out to someone like me. It spoke directly to me. There's a part in this pilot episode where you get to see Iris and some others who fear that they will just vanish in the wake of this apocalypse, and that everything that they had done, the good lives that they had led, will mean nothing. This is a fear that many people like myself have. What if all of the work that we do, the work that we do here on YouTube, the books that I write, the job that I did as a teacher, or the work that I do for my family, the time that I spend with my family, will that even matter in the long run? The answer is yes. Everything good and bad that we do does matter. It reverberates throughout the lives of other people. That fear of becoming irrelevant is absolutely real. But if we are willing to strive, to never give up in our journey, and to strive for that thread of hope, it is there, it does exist, and we can grab it, we can hold on to it, and the choices that we make do have consequences. And if we're willing to do the courageous thing, to do the right thing, then we can really start just an avalanche of amazing awesomeness. That has been one of Olan Rogers' core beliefs through everything that he has done, and that was challenged by his own personal experiences with Hollywood, with disaster, with personal loss, and he took all of that and put it into Godspeed. This is an incredibly poignant story. It is very uplifting. It is dark, oh boy, and it is dramatic. It is tense. It will fill you with a certain amount of anxiety to watch it. But it has such a beautiful message. It has such a hopeful ending to it. This is why I would absolutely love to see this made into a full-fledged series, which is why, again, I ask that you please share out word of Godspeed. If you can, contribute to the Kickstarter. Let's make this show happen. Because just like with Murder Drones, The Amazing Digital Circus, Hell of a Boss, Tales of Zale, Satina, we need these stories. We need independent animation. We need to give jobs to these people. We need to let these stories blossom and go out into the world because people need them. Godspeed is one of those keys. It is one of those shows that, if it can be a success, will pave the way forward, not only just for Olan Rogers and his crew, but for so many other people. So please, if you're able to, watch this episode, Godspeed, share it out with other people, contribute to the Kickstarter, and kind of toot my own little horn right here, if you want to hear the embarrassing Christmas poop stories from both Olan Rogers and myself, then get this video right here up to 10,000 views, and I will make sure that happens. And speaking of supporting stories, If you would like to support the work that we do here at Camille's Harem, if you'd like to support novice creators, then please check out the stories that we ourselves have made. I have a list of all of the books that I've published in the description below. Please go check them out. I think you'll really enjoy them. But otherwise, thank you so much for coming to this video, for supporting us here at Camille's Harem. Please, again, check out Godspeed. You will love it. And until the next video, y'all, tschüss.